Haskell. Yep, alright. And I'll be joining over shortly, and then the rest of the crew with a surprise coming. Hey, Kurt. Give me a second here. I'm going to shout out everyone now that I'm here, so I'm going to leave it on the screen and then the entry screen for a second. Hey, Keith. Sorry about the delay. I was a guest over on Luke's Lounge, so's Anna, and so is Oblivion Seeker Les, as we're just discussing something. So I had to push things back here a half hour for this because it's, you'll see. It's awesome stuff going on. Kern. That's how I put it on Keith, but it's to everyone. Thank you. Whew. Busy week. Right before the holidays. Perfect, right? Get things rolling here. I'm not sure how. Hey, Greg, I'm not sure how much we'll be talking Tropics. We're gonna get some in, but once our special guests come over here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Blue Joy, what's up? It's gonna be cool. But let me. I'll go over some things as we're waiting here for Anna. So let me get through all this. I know I'm doing them too fast, so it's pumping me out every second one. What's up, Alex? I'm assuming you can hear me, right? Looks like sounds good. I just wanted to make sure because I had to change some screens, change some things. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is my sound okay? I'm the only one on right now, so because Anna is still over there, so I left her there. I wanted to get things rolling here, so yep. Good. Okay, got that out. All right, let me do this. Get the giveaway set up so I don't forget that. Give me a sec here. I didn't close out the other one. Shit. All right, give me a second. There, I did forget something. Just gotta type this in here. I may have done the give instructions on this, but not. And I spelled gazetteer wrong. You gotta be kidding me. Said. There we go. Okay. This is the beginning of another week. Yeah, because I still have Elflair games up. That's the problem. One second, almost there. That's it. All right, boom. There we go. Recent events. Okay. Now we should be good. Now we should be good. Awesome. Okay. Sorry, I'm babbling to myself, everyone. Just me for right now, so I'm going to put on screen 13, I think, here. Because this screen sucks, right? Because it's just, it's got a big blank screen here. So let me bring this up here. Here comes Anna. Oh, there. Now we can go back because Anna is here. So that's my background. Slip back to that. There we go. Perfect timing.
Perfect. Great.
All right, that was fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, yeah, definitely very exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Let me see here. So I'm just bringing up some things here. All right. So tonight, Anna and I are going to talk about GREYHAWK's Tropics for a bit until we have some surprise guests coming on. Tonight's giveaway. Thanks, Doc Shoulder. I have these. I have the GREYHAWK Gazetteer revised in print copy. Yes. So we'll give them at least one of these away tonight. Yep, it's a nice copy of all the things you need for modern day gaming and GREYHAWK for your base to start things up. So great job by all of them. And got all this. Let me get my notes from the project out of the way here and get us going on the, yeah. Well, that stinks. Whoa, Gary, what's up, man? Oh, there you go. Awesome, dude. Yeah, definitely. That's really cool. I sent out there. Don't you hate that stuff, Blue Jay? I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry about that. Yeah, stuff at home always stinks when you can't get it to work out. So, another week is content for streams again this week. What's up, Norker? So we got tonight, we got tomorrow night, standard time, then I got a Saturday morning game, and then Sunday night we have Ed on. So, right before the holidays. Perfect. So, all right. So, Anna, this was another Mike idea topic on the Tropics. And we'll go as long as we don't have any of our special guests on. So, we may see them come over at some point. So, what's up there, Michael? So, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's one of these geographically kind of topics. So in a way, I love it. And one of the things that I love about this, or that kind of the big consideration, is that there isn't much. It depends on what you mean by tropics, and that's the definitions is the first part. But for most part, you don't realize that there isn't much tropics in the GREYHAWK, so to speak. Most of it is far away. Wasn't introduced into the setting until much later, and lived on the fringes. That's why I think this discussion is kind of important in that sense, to see what's there and also to widen it, because for most people, I think tropic, they think, oh, jungle. We have jungle adventures, and that's it, so to speak. But there's way more to the tropics than that. And first of all, we need to start thinking about or look into what are the definitions of tropics, so to speak, because there might be more than just jungle, because jungle is one type of forest that is present in parts of the tropics, so to speak. But the tropics are first of all, they are a region of the planet where there are between the circumference of the northern and the southern, the Cancer and whatever they're called in the real world, so to speak. In the real world is, 23 degrees north to 23 degrees south. But on Earth, since the actual tilts is higher, that means that it's 30 degrees. That means that it's from 30 degrees north to 30 degrees south of the equator. That's considered the tropics. And that's basically within the area where you have no real seasons. The sun is up and it's hot and all year round. So you get almost the same amount of sunshine all year round. You get roughly around 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. The further north and south you go, the more the seasons become bigger and bigger and bigger, or more impactful. But tropics are the area where you have very little seasons. That it's almost seasonless, and day and night cycle are the most important. That is the definition of tropics. And the tropics, it becomes two general categories of tropics. You have the dry tropics and you have the moist or wet tropics. And the ones that are at the edges, the north and the southern boundaries of the tropics, that's where the deserts are on most planets, and that are general that have an actual tilt, so to speak, and become because they get most of the, and it's due to the large weather cycles and stuff. So depends on the size of the planet too. But since Earth are roughly almost identical in size and they rotate about the same speed, so that and
Gotcha.
they are have the atmosphere composition that is the same. That means that you get like a dry band north of the equator and a dry band south of the equator. And that should be, and that is actually where the Orneval Peninsula and the Pomage are located. So if, and so why aren't there huge deserts south, or why isn't the Telvanat Peninsula a huge desert and so on? It's because there's so much water around. It's like Europe. And you have south, the Sahara, Africa is a huge continent. That means that it's dry for the most part. America is the same way. But in America, you have the example that some part, the eastern part is not deserty, but the western part is deserty. So mountains have something to do with this. So that was just a quick overview, a little bit of what the tropics are. So now we need to start delving into the geography and why are there big deserts and what are there in the tropics in Greyhawk, so to speak.
And publication wise, I
Hmm.
guess it's probably two for the most part that I can think of. So
Hmm.
that are going to be here. I got this. I got the mic map up, but
Yeah.
Scarlet Brotherhood, Savage Tide, right? Am I missing something?
No, they're
They're
oh
the
yeah,
two, right?
Savage Tide. Those are the main two.
Right.
We have hang on a second. I need to get the book here. We have one that was shoehorned into the tropics too here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Uh,
Well,
that
Isle of
was
Dread.
also
Remember? Yeah, Isle of Dread is an adventure retconned in.
yeah.
So,
But
oh yeah, geez, I forgot Cauldron. How
mhm.
can I forget Cauldron? Holy jeez, you're
Yeah.
right. Because
This this
it's a
one,
that's a retcon too.
yes, it's a retcon
Yeah,
as
that's a
well. Yeah.
retcon too. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't have that one in
Well, it's
hardback.
it's
That's
a
why.
Greyhawk tradition to
Yeah,
retcon things in
Skull Cove is
afterwards.
awesome too. Skull Cove is really
Yeah.
nasty. So yeah, I don't even think I have that one in. Let me just
Yeah.
check. I don't even think I have that one in PDF. So
And Laranieko, yeah, that's perfectly right. Meaning we're talking about a fantasy planet here. So you meaning you can just change things as you see fit, so to speak. I was just trying to take
shoot, how did I
where
forget
if we
Cauldron?
start
That
with
was
the
dumb.
real
My
world and then we can
apologies.
tweak it to whatever extent we like, so to speak. Yeah. And I think that the 30-degree actual tilt was probably made on purpose because they wanted to emphasize things because you get a hotter, warmer, bigger tropics and you get a colder, more
Hey,
seasons in the
darling.
north. And fantasy generally do well when you have more drastic changes. The cold is colder, the hot is hotter, the the jungles are hotter and steamier and so on and so forth. So you want iconic locations and the boring temperate in the middle are squeezed and are smaller, so to speak. Yeah.
So everyone knows I don't play in the area, right? But I kind of like Sassarine. I really love
Hmm.
what was done
Yeah.
with Sassarine and the stories behind it. And I guess it came right from James Jacobs' own personal campaign. But who I mean, that's the way things get done. If you're producing, and he's at Paizo at the time, and you're
Yeah.
producing, I mean, and hey, it's mine. I'll add it in, and so now you got an entire city that just appears from out of nowhere down
Well,
south of south, but it is off the original map. So that was the reasoning. I guess we could do it.
yeah, and I also think that
Yeah,
it's perfect because that was an empty spot and it filled it perfectly. It's not
yeah.
like something
Let me
else was
get your map
shoehorned
up
in.
here.
The Sasserine to me feels like it's always been there, like it should be in Greyhawk. It's not something
Yeah.
like you can sense that it comes from somewhere else. No, I think it fits in the
Almost there.
setting as well as any bigger the other big cities,
Here,
and
let me
it
do
has a
this.
believable backstory and all of that. So yeah.
Here we go. Okay. So
Yep.
Thank you all for the hype train. Really appreciate it. So we have, if you come down here in the main area of the Shalimar and you go, psh, 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 psh. All right. So you got Cauldron's right nearby too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Sassarine's not a retcon. Sassarine's placed there when Savage Tide comes up. And if you see, I guess the cutoff is what? Somewhere around here, right, Anna, on the map? Somewhere like in the,
What do you mean cut
like
off?
the original Darlene map. It's cut.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
the original Darlene
Yeah.
map shows
It shows
a
some of
little
this Hook
bit. Yeah.
Peninsula.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
and a
Yeah.
little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sesame is an 800 years old city, which Sea Princess kept a secret. Right. Right. Exactly. But like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a retcon. It's an ad. Whereas this is done, and then they decided let's place this after the fact.
Yep.
Right. The cauldron was already written up. Now, did they place it here, Aaron, or did you help place it here?
No,
Or
they placed it
they
there.
placed it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
it just after. I think this wasn't placed until Savage Tide came out, if I recall.
I think yeah, because I think they placed it when they made the
Oh, they did.
hardcover.
Okay, when
Yeah,
the
because they've
hardcover, right,
yeah,
which is a year or
exactly.
two
First
afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think it came with a hardcover because then so they tied them together in the
right.
sense that I think one mentions the other and it comes with maps and stuff. I think
Yeah,
that was the
that
only
hardcover is like
yeah.
hard to get.
Hmm.
I've tried to get a hold of that. That is a
Oh yeah,
tough
I
one.
got it when it
Tough one to
came
get a
out.
hold of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spire Long Shadows and the Age of Worms happens in the area. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that. All right, so maybe they retconned it in during Age of Worms, which
Well, it
so
was the Paizo era, so it
Paizo
was
Hawk, yeah.
in the
Mhm.
general era. So they put things together,
I
so to
liked it
speak.
because they're creating new content for everyone
Hmm.
outside
Yeah.
of the standard, more of a Kioish colony that eventually fell in the clutches of the Sea Princess. There you go, Gary. Love it.
Hmm.
I did not know that. So,
Yeah.
yes. Or, but, so we're going to talk the area that is really not on the Darlene map. Some of it, technically, I guess the Asia Sea, is part of the tropics, but, we're talking about an area beyond that. And so that's why I brought this up first, because this is the Great Mike map. So named after a worshiper of Ouija, I think. Okay. Or Ouija, according to Len Lakofka. So Anna, here's the fifth voyage of Sandushara, the Navigator,
Hmm.
which maps out the whole area, right? From Gradsel, and he goes and he hits Shar, runs the entire length of Monoland, and this Ikalan, that's Farshore, if or is that not Farshore? I thought
No,
that
no, that far shore is
Farshore
on
south of
the
that.
no. It's on the Isle of Dread over on the west there.
No, Far is it?
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's Farshore. I thought it was Farshore was over here.
No. Ikilan is a Tuve place.
Oh, okay. See, that shows you how much I know.
Olman or Tuve. I'm not sure which one. Yeah.
It's on an island next to Dread. It's not on the
Hmm.
Isle of Dread. There you go.
No, but
Okay.
it's in the group of islands around Isle of Dread. So zoom
Right.
in there on Isle of Dread and you'll find it.
Right. Okay. There it is.
There
Okay.
you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Far short, running up. So this area gets mapped. Here's Scuttle Cove, right? So
Yeah.
we got a whole area of I forget what is this called? The that's the Mist Islands or whatever. Yeah,
The Pirate
the
Isles.
Pirate Isles. This is done by GREYHAWK Mike, uh, and his yeah, Mistara. That's funny, Norker. So let me hit this up here and just if you already have gotten a reprint of I'll give you something else too. Yeah, I will. So if you already have ordered it, it's okay. We'll give you another one. So, all right, Anna, keep on going. I'm responding to something here.
Yeah. Okay. One of the big well, we'll see when Jay can show the climate thing.
Oh,
But
yeah, in a second.
this map is really cool. The Mike Bridges made it. I'm not sure exactly how old it is when he published it, but it's amazing. And one of the little ironies is that in the Pirate Isles, there is a huge island that was missing from earlier maps, and then but it was in the Gazetteer from the 83 box set, there is that tiny little map that shows more of the planet. That's where the main island was added in, and Mike, he read that properly. I missed it to begin with, so I had to retcon my maps and update them with that island in there, which I think is amazing. So
I
yeah.
have this one. Here's the Southern Seas map. As you can
Yeah.
see, it's not. It's gone. It's not there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not because you have an old version of the
Yeah.
map. It's outdated. I've updated many times since.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I got so many maps from my map set. I just pulled out stuff because we have other. I have other maps here too. Because we have like this, we can discuss like where the Isle of the Apes should go, right? As you can see, here's this is
Yeah,
one of Troy's
I
maps.
didn't add it because it was one of these things that comes and goes. But I
Right.
maybe if it's in the
Look at
same
that, Greg.
place
Look
all
at
the
that
time, I
timing.
should maybe.
That's funny, Greg. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So there you go. Boing. Yeah. So just some other things. So we got plenty of stuff we can discuss. And our group is developing. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. Develop other areas and just so. Why don't we start? Why don't we start with like the area north of the Olmans, and then we can get into the really offbeat stuff. Why don't we start with the stuff that's almost on the normal Darlene map, right? And that counts Scarlet Brotherhood, the Olmans themselves, Sassarine and Cauldron, and so we'll start with that. So there's a lot of I don't know. I'm glad it got expanded, and please don't take this the wrong way. That they didn't go and they did something in Orkreich or something else, right? During GREYHAWK. I'm glad they kind of this is attached. This is an easy add, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah?
It's attached to the area that's already on the Darlene
yeah.
map.
I mean that's why both the Cauldron and
Were
the
easy.
Sassarine fit so well in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they tied into the Omen and the other stories of the setting, which I think it's sad because this is an area that is so rich in ancient lore with the Omens and the Tuv and stuff. So there's a bunch of possibilities that so far has barely been used. It's been there. We have there's a couple of things, and if you go in, it's probably not on the right spot on your map either because it's been changed. You have the on the south of the it's Amedio Bay.
Right here. I got it right here.
Yeah, there you go. And there you go. Tamuakan, you have it in the right spot there. So
it is correct.
No, hang on a second. No, I think it's moved. Hang on a second. I need to open the latest version. I don't have the latest version on my version either. I need to open the latest version here. So Tamuakan, that was that was one of the old GREYHAWK adventures that is actually set here from the beginning too. So it's great.
It's the first ever adventure published source AD&D adventure that I ever played in was Tamuakan, believe it or not.
So I need to open up the latest version I'm working on here. So because I have additions.
And there is what's the adventure path that Paizo did that kind of odes to Tamuakan, where they have the at the very end they have the pyramid and it's barely sticking up, but it's all the way down in the swamp. I mean,
have they done more than Sassarine, the Savage Tide, and the?
Oh my gosh, I'm talking about in Paizo's world. Yeah. There's one. They did one that's an exact ode to Tamuakan. Yeah. No, not. Hey, what's up, Sars? No, not Norker, not Savage Tide. No, I'm talking about in Paizo's world. In Paizo's world. Hold on. Now you're gonna make me go to Dungeon Meister. Nah, you guys are gonna make me go to Dungeon.
Now I don't. You mean in Golarion? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Tamuakan. I moved it south.
There's a lot of nudity in here, by the way, because just bad boys and girls here. I meant so much stuff. Keep going, Anna. I'm just. I
was just going to say, Tamuakan. I moved it a bit south. There is an old crater up in the or volcano or something hills up in the mountains a bit south. That matches much better the original adventure map. So I moved it.
I don't know which one it was.
Third installment of the Savage Tide. Okay, good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that we can
Do
get
I?
more Ullman and more
What
Tuve
the
stuff
heck? I
in
changed
the
all that.
future.
You know what? I may have resaved it. Oh, I bet you. Yeah, thank you.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. Greyhawks, Tropics.
Thank you,
I know
Norker,
I
and
saved it. I know I
yep.
saved the right thing. Let me just go to 13 to make sure. Hold on. Make sure it's this one. Oh, that's why it's on. It's on the first. So this is it, Gary. Thank you. Thank you. See, it's there. It's there on the first one. I didn't catch it on 13. Yep. Thank you. Awesome. Yep. Greyhawks, Tropics. So. Ah, there's so many pictures, and I'll never find. Most of it's, someone doing someone else. This is a very sexual adventure series. But I know that I know that they have an underwater with one of these groups, Pyramid, that they're adventuring in out in the swamp. And I know it's an ode to Tropics Thunder. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I'll never find it. I'll
Well,
never.
his nickname is Dungeonmeister, so he might be found for two reasons: D&D and the other reason we should maybe not mention too much
Yeah,
on a Twitch
I think it
stream, but
was.
it's
Oh,
fine.
here it is. Here it is. It's
There
this.
you go.
It's this series. It's Curse
A
of the
po a,
Crimson Throne. There,
okay, the
there it is.
pyramid with horns on it. That's
Yeah, but
amazing.
it's in the
Yeah.
swamp. Yeah, it's an ode to
Hmm.
Tomokon. So yeah, there you go. Yep. So noted that. Yeah. So they did the right thing. Yeah. All right. Just wanted to share that. There's a lot of Sassarine pictures in here too, and I'll have to find the ones that are not X-rated, because that's all I need is to share some of these and get blasted on. Yeah, this is their Savage Tide campaign. So lots of Sassarine pictures. Sassarine. They're all they're hanging out in Sassarine mostly. So all right. So Anna, I've never run anything down here. I was always thinking about doing it. I just don't know if my guys would have the patience. Sea-based campaigns are awesome, right? Or ship-based campaigns are awesome.
Ships is in some ways,
This is
I
all
think ship
Sassarine.
space are fantastic in
Sassarine.
several ways because you get a home base of operations where you can stash things, you can do downtime, you can do crafting and all sorts of things on a ship that is movable. You can move it to where you want it to go, and you
Mm-hmm.
they can be confined to that place, so to speak. So in some sense, I think ship travel can be perfect. It can be like you can go like on a fantasy cruise. You can have like you can go ashore, do an adventure, then come back again, and you have a base, a home base that is movable where you can stash your treasure, recover, and do all sorts of things. And the base, the ship can be attacked, and you can things can happen, and you have weather and all sorts of stuff. So I think ships adventuring is campaign is way underrated. I think it could be really fun. I played in. I never run a real good ship-based campaign, but I played in a couple and they've been great. So I definitely should do it. I don't feel I have the necessary skills yet. I need to learn more about shipping and sailing and
What's
stuff.
up, Curtis? See you tomorrow night. Yeah,
Hello.
so
Yep.
this one says it's February in Sassarine. It's still early in the morning, and everyone's outdoors enjoying the beauty of the tropical morning before the temperature rises too much. And we're
Hmm.
going to talk about. So I don't know how hot it gets. I mean, is it 100 every day there? And that's what we're talking about your
No, that
climate.
yeah, the trop and also there is a huge difference whether it's hot or dry.
Okay,
And the same thing, meaning that's the difference. Meaning when you go to if you're in Miami, Florida, and it's 100 degrees and 80% humidity, it's brutal. It's terrible. But if you go to Palm Springs and it's 95 and 3% humidity, it's not that bad.
okay,
Yeah, because the
okay.
difference is that if you have low humidity and high temperature, that means as long as you stay out of the sun, you're fairly good. It's the sun that kills you, the radiation from the sun. Things cools off really quickly. So dry areas in the tropics have hot during daytime in the sun. But as soon as you get out of the sun, or especially at night, it cools off quickly. Deserts are surprisingly cold at night. And they are deadly, not necessarily for the temperature, but the lack of water, so to speak. But if you take the wet parts of the tropics, then you have, and even the subtropics, because you have to remember that Florida is like subtropics, and they then you get the what they call the wet bulb temperature. That is deadly, and that's something that are rules. If you go back to first edition, you have the Wilderness Survival Guide, has lots of rules about this. And so meaning you can you wear armor in if you're down in the tropics and it's so damn hot, you should not be able to wear armor because then you will overheat if you stand out in the sun and a metal
Ugh.
suit. That will be, yeah. So if you're a cruel DM, you will start making people have to suffer consequences for wearing too much armor. But on the other hand, you need to wear clothes because the sun is brutal. But in the wet tropics, it's the temperature itself that is the danger, not so much being in the sun specifically, but in the dry parts, it's the sun that kills you.
I'm just showing some of the Isle of Dread pics when they get shipwrecked there.
Yeah. Yep.
This the one with T-Rex is crazy.
Yep.
So, but yeah. All right. Let's do this. Let's go over to Anna's climate map here.
Yeah,
And
because
then
there's a lot of there are variations even in the tropics, so to speak.
I'm going to bring them both up, but have Earth climate first
Yeah.
or Earth text. Which one first?
Go first the climate, the lower parts of the
Earth
where you have
climate V2?
climate zones. Yeah, climate zones, the
Got it,
bottom
got it.
part. So we can see where of the what part of Earth we're talking about here. So go to the bottom part first. I should have made this map the
That's
opposite
fine. I
way,
can
but
just do that. That's fine.
yeah. So here we go. So I've color coded. So you have the blue upper and lower parts. That's the Arctic. That means that it's 60 degrees north or 60 degrees south or more, so to speak. That's the polar. That's from the polar circles north and southwards. That's the polar regions of Earth. And then you have the green band and the northern and the southern green band. That's the temperate areas. Those are the areas that have the very distinct seasons
Fearless.
and yeah, and so on. And that is basically between 30 and 60 degrees north and 30 and 60 degrees south. And then you have everything between 30 degrees north to 30 degrees south. That's technically in the tropical zone, so to speak. But then
Okay.
you have and the wet band is the center half of the
Like
tropical band.
half
is
of
the,
each.
yeah, the center half of the whole red band,
Oh,
so to
okay.
speak.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you
Got
have
it.
like a quarter of it north and south
Okay.
is the dry parts, so to speak. But the difference is that if you go to the climate map, the top part,
Mhm.
you can see the difference is that if you zoom in just a little bit, here we go. So you have the red parts here are the hot deserts. And
Right.
the blue parts are the tropical rainforests, so to speak, the jungles. And then you have various others. So when you go inland further west, you see the real pattern of deserts, and then go the very western part of Eric. There you can see this
Because it's
in
such
action.
a large landmass.
Yeah, exactly. There you can see that what happens is that when you have coastlines and you have oceans nearby, they regulate the landscape. So that's why you have very on small islands you don't have deserts that much, so to speak. Deserts are more of an inland phenomena because oceans bring in moisture, and that brings rain and stuff when it cools off at night and at different parts of the area. So the big deserts on Earth, they are in the western part. They have huge deserts and the central part. So the eastern parts, there's too much water and ocean. You have the Azure Sea and part of the Solnor and stuff. So instead of deserts, we get they are cooling it off and they are even it out. So we have monsoons, we get subtropical, humid subtropical and stuff like that instead. So that even evens out the temperature, so to speak. So that's why northern Hepmonaland and the Amedio, they should be more deserty and dry, but thanks to being surrounded by water on all sides, that is kind of very warm oceans and stuff. That means that you get a lot of it's a bit like India. India should have way more desert, but it's so this is very
Well,
similar to
yeah,
India.
the
Yeah,
Himalayas really
yeah, but the
stop.
Himalayas is, yeah, they stop it from going north. That's why Tibet is a desert.
Right.
That's due to him. But India is much more full of jungles
Right.
and monsoon areas and have much more forest and stuff, because otherwise India will be much more deserty. Meaning you go to Saudi Arabia and Africa and it's way more deserty. But India has much more because the ocean currents give much more moisture to India. So India and Sri Lanka and stuff are way more humid than the Arab Peninsula and Northern Africa is. And it's the same thing here. So, but
Okay.
here, so this part is much more reminiscent of Florida and India and Sri Lanka and stuff like that than it is of the Arab Peninsula and Northern Africa and stuff, even if they are on the
Eric
same
Land. That's funny.
northern latitude, so to speak. So you have the
Hey, Chris.
northern coast of Hepmonaland. There you have the monsoon, and that monsoon is one of the few things that are seasonal in the tropics. And that is simply due to the ocean currents bringing water of different temperature from different parts of the year. So you get certain times of year, you have wet and dry season, and they can vary. So you can have like a summer monsoon or a spring monsoon and a dry fall and something like that. So that's part. And then you have the mountains in the center of Hepmona Land are higher terrain.
Right.
The hills, they get subtropical humid rather than tropical. So you have a little bit cooler and stuff, but they're still rainy. And then on the western part of northern Hepmona Land, you have the dark blue rainforest, and that means that these have the tropical rainforest. You have a little bit of rain or like heavy rain almost every day all year
Wow.
round. It rains a couple of hours a day almost every day of the year. In the monsoon area on the right, that is true for about half the year. The other half, it rains much less. So it's much more seasonal. And the subtropical is the same, but it rains less and is cooler than the tropics. So that is the
Gary, don't
difference.
don't don't have Nagoya Joe and all those guys over there. Don't drive them crazy by stealing any more from Astara, man.
Yep,
It's good. It's good, but like we don't want to alienate anyone. I'm just kidding.
yep,
So it's fun. All right, cause we got so many stuff that was outside of the. Here comes Les on too. So we'll hopefully have some special
awesome.
announcements. So um, we're going to give away the Gazetteer reprint, which may be an earlier edition. All right, but it's still cool, and the Scarlet Brotherhood. All right, because we got enough for it. It would have been well over a level 3 hype. So okay,
Yep,
winner will get both, and if you have one or both, we can swap out stuff. All right, cool. Hey Lee. So I hope you all enjoyed. Anyone who was over in Luke's Lounge, thank you. I hope you all enjoyed that discussion. Man, we're all excited. So hopefully we'll have a
yep.
special guest hopping on shortly here. So yeah, to
Hey,
discuss some things. Yo,
Hello.
Les, fun
I
discussion.
just to chime in right quick
Yep.
and
Yeah.
dive right in there. Anna, you raised when you talk about like the weather and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, brings up something that I like. One can also think about the environmental effects on players' equipment and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I think of, among other things, some of the descriptions of early explorers and their like the how like the where the priest would record stuff and it like the condition of their armor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
By the time they've gotten ground through the muck. Or you can think of I think about when my father talking about when he was stationed in Vietnam. Or I think about living in New Orleans, right? Where how can I put it? Breakdown is inevitable and sometimes more rapid than usual.
Yeah, I mean the old
Um,
scrolls and stuff, they go moldy and disappear quickly in the
exactly.
tropics.
Or
So
there
yeah.
might be insects that wind up getting into your
Mm-hmm.
papers and devour pages.
Yep.
Oh, how many times have I been frustrated when when I've been gone looking for a book and found that something munched on a page, right? Some little insect.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, you can imagine how that could affect. Then that's an additional consideration when the PCs and players have to go through a resource management,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
also how do you safeguard your resources?
yeah. And I was thinking when the environment, since this is warm all year round, basically, that means that reptilian monsters thrive here much more than they do in temperate and
Well,
cold regions.
that's exactly where we get to
Yeah.
tie in.
Mhm.
So let's
Yep.
Stephen Randy McFarland, everyone,
Yes.
welcome. We'll have another guest coming on in a second. So, Stephen, what were your thoughts? Because Gary Julian's on Pluffett Smedger in chat, right? What were your thoughts when he absconded with the Isle of Dread for Greyhawk back in the day?
Well, I'm sorry. Say that again.
What were your thoughts when Gary and crew and Paizo stole Isle of Dread and it's going into Greyhawk?
Oh, I thought it was kind of fun. To be honest, that was a period of time. That was the end of when I was working at WotC, and I knew the Paizo guys pretty well,
Cool.
and I knew they were excited about it. But I'm, the great thing about all of those settings is you can just abscond with anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, so 100%, and yes, and
Isle of Dread really, it's so easy, yeah, especially to put it exactly where it is on that map right there.
Yeah.
It's a great place to put it. It fits with the setting so well. I mean, the great thing about Isle of Dread and a lot of those early adventures, they fit with every setting.
Mhm.
You could just dump, they were kind of made to do that.
Yeah, and these are so remote areas in Greyhawk and so large that you can fit almost anything down there, and people up in the Flanese would never heard of it. So it makes perfect sense that they never heard of a Yanti snake culture, whatever, was a cult or something down there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely not as jarring to me as putting elemental evil stuff in let's say the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Which I've seen people do.
No, I've seen people do,
yeah.
and if you do that, God bless you. But it makes my 15-year-old's eye twitch, right?
Right.
What? And there's nothing wrong with doing that. So, I mean, and any good GM knows steal whenever possible, right? Especially if you're backed up against the wall, it's all like, oh, what can I steal really quickly to make this a hell of a lot of fun really quickly? So,
Steven, you know what really is a real ton of fun? Taking my Greyhawk, stealing from Forgotten Realms, and then using it against Ed himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always take spells of his from those crazy books from Seven Sisters and stuff, and then I use it against Ed himself. And he's like, Jay, that's not right. Yeah. So that's the fun thing. Steal.
That's the fun thing about like Ed these days is Ed's now very story focused, and he's like, I don't want to deal with mechanics and everything else. He was a mechanical monster when he was younger. Like some
absolutely.
Of the bits in Dragon Magazine and everything else, it's all like you were beating the crap out of the players in your game, and they were probably thanking you for it because a good DM can do that. But yeah, I'm like, did you outgrow coming up with No, you shouldn't outgrow that. I mean, he does great things with narrative and whatnot, but it seems funny to me when people, and more than just that, I've met this quite a few times. I don't feel like I do that. It's like, oh, I've outgrown mechanics. I don't make these terrible things that small player characters are anymore. And I'm like, oh, I still do. Still love it.
We know that Ed can still do it.
Right. I'm just busting his stones.
But
Ed's a great friend.
Yeah, that's awesome, Stephen. Yeah.
So we'll just keep on going with this topic, Stephen, until Luke comes on. Is that okay? You good with that?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So Adam's got another map here as we're talking on. Here you go. Your seasons.
Well,
map.
I just this was more to show what. This is a very quick overview of the planet Earth, so to speak. I'd made a concept to kind of seen from the poles, and the different parts there are various. Or the northern summer or southern summer or northern winter, but we're talking about tropics, so there's barely no season, so it's in the middle. But you have the Flanese part is the one that is closest to the normal part of where we have Greyhawk setting. Almost all of it devoid of the deserts you have further west, so to speak. So you have ocean, and then you have lowlands full of various forests, jungle, and monsoon forest and stuff like that, and some hills. So but there's a couple of kind of things that stand out when it comes to geography. And the Tilvanot Peninsula and the Ukalashna Plateau is one of these.
Let me go to
Yeah,
your
go to the
regular
one
map.
with a higher resolution.
Yeah,
So,
let me go to your
so
regular map here.
yeah, there you go. That is, this is firmly in the northern tropic. It's up in the desert zone. If this would be a plateau in an inland, so to speak, it will be a dry, mercilessly hot plateau that is way, way, way off from any source of water and stuff like that. It will be like the Ahagar Mountains in the Sahara, or the mountains surrounding the Death Valley in the U.S. or something like that. It will be
Or
one
even
of
the
these
Andes, right?
exactly, or part in the Andes and stuff. Yeah, or parts you have mountains in the Tibetan Plateau and stuff like that. They're really, but Tibetan Plateau is so high that it gets cold. That's the
Right.
difference. But here it would be squarely in the hot. But the thing is that this area is now surrounded by water. You have the Azure Sea, a very warm place, and then you have warm water coming up from the south and stuff that brings moisture, and that means that you get a lot more rain. But I still depicted the top of the Ukalashna Plateau as a fairly dry place because it's above most of the weather. So the lowlands get more in the lot of the temperate areas the other way around. It's the hills that we get most of the moisture, but down here it's the thing falls usually lower, so to speak. So I made it. We can think it's at least maybe 3,000-4,000 feet high or something. So it's kind of a sick, because in fantasy you want things to be iconic. So you want that kind of awesome plateau that is so isolated that you can wander around, and if you don't find the right place to climb up, you can have a whole country up there and no one knows, so to speak. But it's and if you drill down in the Kolashna Plateau, you can probably find water and stuff. So if you just, and there are cracks and stuff in between. So I made it full of cracks. But it's one of the most interesting features of when it comes to what the landscape looks like.
How's it
Yeah.
How's this formed?
This can be formed normally in the real world. They're formed by two ways. Either you have old volcanic activities.
Right. Okay.
You have it could be a volcanic mesa. So what you do in India, there's plenty of them. In Siberia there are, and in Southern California there are too. Just the
And
lower.
Eastern Washington.
Exactly. So down in the
Badlands,
Santa Ana
right?
Mountains,
Yeah.
a few miles south where I live, there are these mesa, and the islands, Catalina Island and stuff. They are made that way. And what happened
Oh, I
was
didn't
that
know
back
that.
in the day, yeah, there was like volcanoes. I think 10, 15 million years ago, there were volcanoes. There were high mountains and there were volcanoes in there. And then the lava, basalt, that solidified, and then the softer mountains eroded away, and that was that lava lake that was basalt, that is level, are still left because it's much more dense, so it takes much longer for it to erode away. And that's how you get some of these old lava basalt stuff, and there are several of them in various parts of the world. So what was once a volcano then becomes a mesa. That's one way it can happen. Another one is that you can have old parts of the terrain that is even older. You have what they call crampons, or something. They're really old parts of the crust of Earth that has been around, and they're really hard, and they're more like what you call primordial rock, so to speak, and bedrock that is really far down, that have been made down in Earth and then being pushed up. They sit around and they last for a long time. Scandinavia, Greenland, and parts of South Africa are examples of that. The rest erodes away, and little bits are left that are much harder than the rest, so to speak.
Yeah, they got some a rock
Yeah.
that's billions of years old in those areas in Canada.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
can like 3-4 billion.
Yeah.
They're almost as old as the planet itself.
Yeah,
so
which
to
is really
speak.
neat.
Yeah, and the rest is just disappeared over the years, and it's left there. So those are the two. It could be happening in the real world, but we're talking fantasy. You have
Right.
elemental powers and all other stuff
Right.
that can happen. So yeah.
All right, so let's take a little break from our Tropics discussion as we have the honor of having Luke Gygax and Stephen Redding McFarlane on. So I'll just say an announcement, then we'll take it off to Luke and Stephen. So this is myself, and then the four individuals we have here are the core team for a special project we've hinted at that's going to come to fruition in the near future, that we're all super excited about. So Luke, why don't you take it away? Welcome over here to Legends of Lore. You are muted.
No, that's just the way Luke talks. We can read his lips.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
The Discord over the Zoom thing is a nightmare. Trust me. That's why I had to get off and do all that stuff. Yeah. So awesome. Nope.
Ooh.
Nope.
Check.
There.
Yep.
Check.
There we got you.
Yes.
Yep.
Woo.
There we go. Woohoo! All right, success. Victory is mine.
Success.
Hey, always happy to be here. Thank you for having me. We had a nice discussion in my little intimate Luke's lounge just a little bit ago. And the project is Melf's Guide to Greyhawk, The Borderlands of Eos, Book 1, Part 1, Volume 1, however we're going to refer to it. And essentially, when we heard that finally, Greyhawk was going to be open to official products again, I think it was day one.
Yeah, Luke, you and I is like that there. Like, let's do it. Finally.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
And so we want to do this and we kind of kicked this idea around. And it started off as like, okay, great, let's do Melf's Guide to Greyhawk. Well, that's kind of vast. So let's narrow it down. Okay, Eos is a pretty bad, bad character, whatever we could like address that. There's a lot of material on Eos, so we shrank it down to the Borderlands of Eos for our first installment, and we plan maybe a trilogy or three book set that would take us through the storyline with Eos. But it's going to include for your non-Greyhawk aficionados, there'll be an overview. Then we'll kind of narrow it down and talk about the Borderlands, the Shieldlands area. We'll talk about how Melf was created. How I played him. Give a little bit of insight into how where he's from, how he was raised, how he got his kind of character, values, what made him decide to eschew a life of nobility and embrace being an adventurer, which is not an easy life and face lots of hardships and lots of danger, right? Why would someone do that? What would be the reason where you'd leave what would probably be considered, a very safe and privileged life to go out and do things that are dangerous, scary, and risk your life. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And of course, when I played Melf, it was AD&D times, and I was much younger. I was a lad. I probably played him from like 10 to 14 years old, mostly. It's probably where the core, maybe 15, where the core of playing Melf was for me. And I got him up to 11th level fighter and 13th level magic user back in the AD&D days as a gray elf with magical. I used wishes to raise his strength up to 1880 something, and I had to use 2 more wishes to get his strength
It's
up
10
to
percentile at those
10%.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took a ring of 3 wishes, all 3 of those
Oh
wishes
my gosh.
to get his strength to 19, and then I got a tome of clear thought or whatever it was, the one that raises your intelligence.
Yeah.
But I got that one, which is funny.
Those were the days, the Monty Hall days, the early days.
Well, that was from was it Drelsna or whatever her name is, had all the books, right? As part of her treasure in Sodcamp.
Yeah, in Shokanth. Yeah, there was a lot of a lot of tomes in Shokanth. Yeah,
well, because it was at the end, right? The spider, the vampire with the spider climbing slippers in the circular chamber, the spherical chamber, I should say.
What a great adventure!
But my argument as a young man was to the rest of my party is, I'm much more important than you guys are. I should get both the strength and intelligence. That was funny. So Melf has never lacked from a sense of self-importance. But anyway, we won't go down there rabbit hole. But Melf played Melf in several high-level adventures over the years because his appearances in the rules and that sort of thing. He's kind of grown into a well-known character outside of just my actual play with my dad and Greyhawk. And so I thought, well, Melf, I always wanted as a player to have an organization that would promote wheel in the land of Greyhawk, right? Especially around you look in that area of the planet. So we've decided that that organization is the Order of the Verdant Shield, and I'll describe that order, how it came about, and why Melf has a personal enmity with Iaz and wishes to focus his attention on stopping this particular source of evil in GREYHAWK, because there's a plethora of evil to choose from in GREYHAWK. So why is Iaz so special? And honestly, I'm very, very blessed to have talented folks helping me make this a solid product, an excellent product, who have, of course, honestly, sages of GREYHAWK. Really, we have GREYHAWK savants in our midst here. Both Jay and Anna and Wes have spent many, many years. Stephen is going to tell you about some of his qualifications if he hasn't already before I joined. So I couldn't ask for a better team of folks to collaborate with this and to really hit our core kind of goals. Something that is respectful of the world of GREYHAWK and its history. Something that has excellent values, production values, and is a good product. So, recognizing the past, being a good product, and being a good adventure, and providing DMs with useful material that they can use to expand and run their campaign in the world of GREYHAWK, which is new again to a lot of people. So that's kind of the 4 points that I think have a lot of value here. And of course, we got Jay and Les writing a lot of history as well as some of the game mechanics stuff. We've got Anna working heraldry and maps. We've got Stephen helping shape this cool adventure that we have in the book. And so without further ado, I will pass that over to, I'll let Jay MC it. Where are we going?
So, real quick, there's someone in the audience that's going to, and there's going to be other people we may reach out to in the community to provide a blurb of something.
Oh, heck yeah.
And get writing credit. And there's someone in the audience that I've already talked to that's agreed to do it and will have us, and this person's already done this deity up that I love. It's going to go in the book. Right, so we got all the knowledge out there, and we're going to utilize it. We're going to utilize some assistance, and that's what's so exciting. The hard work that we've all done in this community the last 6 years. You can't hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chris said that the sound go out. I'm
I
like,
can-
oh my God, no.
hear
All the hard work that everyone's done, and there's, as you said, I can't say enough about the hard work that Troy and everyone who did this, and Lee and everyone did on this. This is the same thing, but this is from a different direction. There's opportunity here to go back and tell stories that should have been told back in the day, and for 576, and we're so excited to be able to bring this to you, respecting the old lore, but bringing in some new stories, new canon, and just some new fun things, some challenges. Because make GREYHAWK your own. There's so much room. So Steven's got some great. Let's start. Steven, you got some great ideas for this adventure. I don't know if you want to give too much away, but you're rocking and rolling on this.
I can say this. So the adventure starts with a call to the Shieldlands. Now, calls to the Shieldlands happen all the time, but it's usually this noble asking for paladins or this noble asking for money and everything else. This one's a little different because this guy's looking for people with gumption, right? It's not as much of a religious thing, but a very practical thing, although there's still a night of shielding. So which kind of opens it up to the whole party can kind of go, and he's paying very well, or at least it's rumored that he's paying very well. And then a big part of the adventure is just sort of getting the lay of the land and working for this individual knight, and getting into adventures and figuring it out until bad things happen. And with bad things happen, friends are made, enemies are made, and then all of a sudden you are just knee deep in the Horn Society. You've got to cross that river. You need to find things over there. You need to fight things over there. You need to outsmart things over there. And it all leads up to a conclusion, because I'm not going to give any spoilers, that I think people will find interesting, shocking, and fun.
Yes, indeed.
And a leaping board to other adventures, and we'll have side quests all throughout. You know, so we're trying to create a little mini set, you know, give you, just like that was done by Sargent, and like especially from the Ashes, you had all these different ideas. We're just going to throw as many ideas as you can out, and that's what's exciting about it. Plus, a thing that Luke brought up the other day, we're going to have some old tables in there,
Oh yes.
like the antipathy table for the factions of the deities worshipped in the Horn Society. I mean, that's genius. Yeah, it's just some really neat little things that bring back some nostalgia. So, yeah,
And
really,
it's super useful. I always found those useful.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge like study the rule book guy. So I'm gonna skim through it, managing my ADD, and then look at, and if I see a graphic though, okay, I can hone in on that, and that's going to give me what I need in a snapshot. So I love and respect the folks who read the book 3 times over and like have all the material on lock. But there's some of us out there who don't operate quite that same way. So having some of those charts and things like that is just a really wonderful quick run.
Yeah, and we get more and more ideas as we have more meetings and as we start getting into the writing, which is awesome. And
Stephen did a beautiful little mock-up of how the pages should look that was very reminiscent of the box set.
Of the second editions or the first edition box set. It's beautiful.
It was really nice.
83.
That's beautiful. That's awesome idea.
Yeah, Steve. I think that if we can kind of give that nod to the past while producing something very useful and very current, current standards, excellent adventure with that nod to the classics, that's perfect. That's the way to go.
Tux, we will try for weather tables for the area too, if, size permitting. Yeah,
yeah, those are fun too.
Definitely.
At the very least, I mean, because I've done quite a few of these over time, it might not be with the kind of sort of faux rigor of the tables in 83, but we can definitely make up a very quick and dirty.
We can base it on that and the further work what we've done on climate and kind of
I remember being a 13-year-old and sitting on a notepad that my dad gave me from work, doing all of the weather in my campaign for months, and then in the midst of actually running the game, forgetting all about the weather, and then when I did, my players not caring.
Oh yeah,
it's tough.
They do when it's bad weather. When
they do when it's bad weather.
Exactly, when you can't see and it gets too cold and the roads get muddy, so you can't take the cart and go in there, and the river floods, so the bridge is no longer useful and stuff like that. I'm terrible at coming up with all the stuff that's you learn from the military when you get stuck.
I was
going to say flip side of that. It can be a sunny day and you can see clearly, but that means that somebody else can see you too.
Yeah, the dragon can see you, so you wish for bad weather, somebody can't see you. Yeah.
You want to have that fog so that there's heavy rain or snow, so the air power can't get to you, right?
But silver dragons can see through clouds.
Oh no! Okay. Another fun thing that I don't know if it makes much sense to include, but it would just be fun to do, would be pretentious runes and glyphs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
And
Those
signs of the horned ones too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's Les, why don't you talk about your deep lore, because you're gonna delve into some things here.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's been developed with bad guys in GREYHAWK. And one of the cool things about this project, we're going to be developing the Horn Society and looking at the Horn Society. But we're also going to be developing the Shieldlands, and I think it's kind of cool that we can look at this, and you're going to get a sense, I think, of the history and some of the historical figures who you're going to encounter will provide your paladins and your rangers and your good aligned clerics with sources of inspiration, if that makes sense. Here is, within the history, this sort of thing, this kind of conflict between good and evil, or neutrality and evil, has occurred before on this border, right? That sense of a loss of balance and that sense of encroaching destructive evil. This has happened before. Characters have had to fight before, and some of them have sacrificed themselves. Some of them have accomplished feats against overwhelming odds. Some of them have simply performed acts of kindness that trickled down, right, and had repercussions down the line that they couldn't possibly have known. And these become the stuff of legend there. These are the things that sustain the good folk in the face of evil. And I think it's kind of important to provide that. Again, we were discussing this earlier, and Luke, you and I are on the same page about this. GREYHAWK, there's a difference between moral complexity and moral complications, and just go in full grimdark.
Right. Yeah.
It's the villains help the heroes define themselves, and it's the actions that you take in response to the villains and in response to trying to help, what's it in the Harmonian Code, the faithful and the weak, that defines who you are. And so this is very much in that kind of vein. This is not your Spine Castle adventure. This is not even necessarily your City of GREYHAWK kind of adventure. This is a different feel. You're actually confronting the forces of evil, right? And also, by developing the mythology of it, Stephen, to go back to something you were saying earlier, the idea that your villains might be more complex than you think.
Yeah.
Not to say that they're sympathetic and you're going to want to go up and give them a big hug afterwards to try and soften them, but that some of them have motivations that you can understand. They're very, very recognizable motivations. Maybe it's something simple like hunger. Maybe it's more complex, like a desire for revenge, or maybe there was something where they took that first step, right? And this helped save some people. It was messy, but it was necessary, darn it. And then there's that second step where you do something that's really bad, and you go down that, and you spiral down that path, right? So I like the idea that we're developing not only the past, but how that is reflected in the future, and how the choices that people made in the past influence the present that the characters exist in, and in turn, those characters will influence the future of this world. At any rate, if that sounds pretentious or whatnot,
no, we understand how you go deep into things, so it's cool.
I mean, I'll give you a little bit of an example without giving any spoilers. It's one of the things, especially in this era, is that I really enjoy about the Horn Society is there's a lot of moving parts as far as bad guys go, but a lot of it is based in the Nine Hells, right? And the Nine Hells is about hierarchy, it's about control, it's about and so just putting in a mover, a villain, or whatever, that their main goal is to get out of that trap, right? Like, it's not that they don't want to be evil, they do. They just don't want to be subservient to other people. That's a strong motivator. That's a strong motivator for anybody. But imagine that you're, a thrall of hell and everything else. It's not that you don't want to go up in the thing. It's like you want to do it on your own terms. And so that can be used to create a powerful motivation.
Yes,
and so you're going to meet some people, or at least one or two that are a bit like that. They're trying to game the system and hoping that in some ways the heroes can help them do that. There's societal functions. Like, the more I think about what an evil hobgoblin society must look like, the more it absolutely terrifies me, and I'm glad I didn't grow up in one. I went on this weird thought tangent, wrote a bit about it today about so one of the things we know about the Horn Society is there are farmers that live there. What is the life of these poor human farmers that are living in there? And I ended up coming up with one of the things is I was talking a little bit earlier about riffing off of Anna's maps, and the fact that all of these areas have this sort of gray gloom on it. And
I tried to tweak it just so
I like the idea that even longer than the Horn Society and everything's been there, this place is just kind of wrong.
It twisted a bit in more than one way.
And so I wrote a bunch of prose that talks about the twisting of that, and the fact that the grain there is actually not right, and the drunkenness that occurs from the brew of this stuff makes people.
Everything.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Ergot poisoning.
sort of, it makes them complacent
Yeah.
when faced with violence, and makes them irritable when faced with anything else. And it's just a
Yeah.
real, like, the worst kind of drunk you could have in the world. And so, and the people of the hierarchs and the lords of the Horn Society know this, and they take advantage of that to control that population. Right? They can bully them into doing whatever they
That's a
want,
cool
and they
angle.
know if somebody comes over the border and says, "Hey, we want to help you live a better life," they're all, "Screw you," right?
Yeah.
And trying to figure out interesting sort of things to make a society terrible without making the people in the society like a bunch of devil worshipping heathenist fuckers.
Yeah, just like you got to give them some personality. What's the reason why they're, humanize them so as to make it understandable.
Yeah, make it understandable. While and in some adventures, when they find that out, they're just like, God, we have to help these people. But it's so ingrained, and so finding reasons like that, like this place is just, there's just it's just tainted. It's just bad. And it's not to say that the forces of good couldn't turn the tide. Like, in fact, the forces of evil have sort of turned the tide in the other direction from time to time. But it's just something in the earth. It's more Mordor than just the fact that there's a whole bunch of hobgoblins and evil people that live over there.
Well, this is how it's been done. This is how it's always been done.
Yeah.
There's also, in terms of the history and lore, and in terms of the characters that you face, I mean, let's face it, you can think of multiple historical examples where, when there's an occupying power, to stay alive and to keep their families alive, there are people who will do business. It's not that they're bad people, it's that they're trying to keep from the chopping block. On the other hand, there are people who will do business, who will do so in order to try and advance their own agendas. It's like, this is my opportunity to achieve power through negotiating with these people.
Yeah,
so you have the people who are sympathetic, and then the ones who are not quite so sympathetic, who are willing to be sub bosses or rats, if you will.
And I would, and maybe my villain in that scenario would have been someone who is trodden upon or perceived that they were trodden upon in the past society, where their family was, right? So they're going to stick it to the guys now. They're absolutely ready to help out the new order or whatever it is, because of perceived past injustices, right? They're only doing what was done to them, and now is their chance to, get revenge and elevate their position. So yeah, there's lots of fun ways to make to justify this sort of stuff. Utilitarian philosophy can really lead you to down some dark rabbit holes.
Well, I was reading a kind of a newer and re-examined history of the Aztec Empire, and the fact that, when Cortez went in, of course, the story that we're all given is Cortez came with, guns, germs, and steel, and 300 of them, not sort of ignoring the fact that the Aztecs made a lot of enemies, and those enemies tend to live on the coast, and the coastal tribes joined Cortez because they wanted to go spank the bad guys. And so when Cortez comes, it's not just his Spaniards, but it's thousands of natives at his back who want a piece of the Aztec Empire, right? So even very practical reasons can come out with some very horrific results by the end of it.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I mean, exactly. It'd be great to have a time machine and go back and see what actually happened, because I've read the accounts where it was a couple hundred Spaniards that took out this huge, empire or whatever. It makes more sense to me that it would be with the help of the other folk that were there. I even remember one book that basically said the Aztecs had a different way of thinking, and essentially the leadership was their higher executive function. The rest of them were all like drones, kind of like, bees or ants or something like that. And so when you cut the head off, so to speak, they didn't know what to do, and so they therefore fell apart. That doesn't seem to hold a lot of water to it, but
probably they were probably not that well liked of their underlings, so to speak. So when the underlings saw someone else coming from the outside and wanted to post them, they might be very willing to aid them, so to speak. So
So, or at least not resist. Just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Before we ask for questions, I want to make one big announcement. We're not using AI art, okay? No AI art.
No.
And in fact, the Luke has got some knows some people. You may see some legends in this with art.
Hopefully.
And you may, for the first time ever, everyone always asks, what's Melf look like? Well, we'll probably find out finally on the cover. For the first time ever, you're going to go, oh, because really there's no pictures of Melf anywhere that I know of.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be totally cheesecake pinup.
Absolutely, you're like flexing.
It's going to be K-Melf bikini.
Yeah, so Luke's going to use some of that charm and try and hope get some people involved in this as well. So we're really excited. Do you have any questions from the audience? And if you we got between 80 and 90 people on right now, just chatting away, and we really appreciate it. But this is something, GREYHAWK, we've been waiting for this moment. We've been talking about this moment in the community for like 3 years, right? This is the opportunity, and we got a good kickoff from Troy and Lee and Norker, the whole crew that is and everyone that put together the Gazetteer, the work Joe Block's done, a lot of people that are putting out content. This is going to be, we want this to be like so awesome that everyone's like, wow, we want more. We think this is the re-kickstart for GREYHAWK back in that 576 era, and then you can start from there.
It's even, because I ran the Living GREYHAWK campaign for so long, and I'm very proud of all of the content that the various, triads and meta regions and all of the folks did with it. But there's something refreshing about going back to this time period and going, and almost treating some of the stuff in a way similar, but hopefully we do it better. When Disney treated the expanded universe for Star Wars, right? It's all like, there's so many fun ideas out there, but we're not really behooving to any of them, but right. we might be able to pick from them and do really fun and interesting stuff using it.
Well, RPG, MMO, there is a ton of Dwarven lore if you're part of the community and you know about the Low Road articles and all the other things that are going on in, all the publications we have now, Visions of GREYHAWK, the Grey Grimoire, and everything else that's going on. It's out there. You just need to know in the community where it is. So there's a ton of great stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm so proud of this whole community, that everyone, we have bloggers, right? We got streamers, we have writers, we have people writing, like Carlos writing great adventures, right? So there's a lot. Yeah, so there you go. Just hang out and learn from this community. So yeah.
XD Candy, I think it's a great question with trade question between Horn Society, meaning Horn Society basically have two main powers south of it, and it's Furundi and Shieldlands that are ideologically and politically opposed and enemies to each other. But that doesn't necessarily mean there is no trade, meaning even during the Cold War, you can have regulated, there could be two types of trade. One could be highly regulated, but done for two reasons. Either because that might be, you want insight, meaning even the Soviet Union traded with the West in some capacities, meaning there might be a place where you decide we meet here once every 6 months or quarterly or certain days, and then we talk to each other face to face, because, and one of the reasons, two reasons. One is you get intelligence. You want to see who the heck lives over there, so you can glean a little bit of it. That's one reason. The other one is that they might be very lucrative, because isolated societies, they tend to lack a lot of things, and they're willing to pay dearly to get them, so to speak. So it might be, and that means that they can be officially conducted. But then you have the other side. A lot of locals who live there realize this, so they can paddle across the river and sell things like metals and stuff they don't have in the Horn Society to make weapons and stuff. So they could be smuggle operations going on here and there, and in order to do it, because once it's very lucrative, it happens on every border in the world where you have, especially when you have political and economic differences, that means that there is a lot of difference in prices, and that opens up opportunities which can be fun for adventures, so to speak. So there's a lot of stuff like that can go on, so to speak.
If you want a better class of beer, you're going to have to cross a river.
Yeah.
And there's also, picking up on that, Anna. Earlier, I mentioned in a different conversation. I mentioned scarcity and surplus economies.
Yeah.
One of the other things. This is something that I won't claim to be an expert in. I will claim that I've done some work researching this for things. But anyway, black, gray, and legit markets. It's like often with intelligence, it's useful to those who would engage in illegitimate trade, if you will, that is to say, kind of shadier dealings, be they black or gray market. They need sometimes they need authority to turn a blind eye to certain things, and sometimes in exchange for that, they will feed information to the authorities, right? So we're going to turn a blind eye to certain activity that you engage in, provided that you provide us intel on the person that you're doing business with on the other side.
Yeah.
And you can get into these morally gray, these kind of morally gray. Not again, it's a complexity. It doesn't deny the possibility of good or evil. It's just that there sometimes to get information, how far are you willing to go, and how does that compromise?
Yeah. And we have
and
then
who
we
approves
have
and
the
disapproves within your organization.
And then we have the outright evil trade, so to speak, meaning Horn Society might want to have cheap labor, so they go over to the good side and get it, meaning they capture people for slavery and stuff like that too. That's a form of trade. It's not a trade that is mutually beneficial. It's a form of robbery and stuff.
Parasitic trade,
exactly. But from the Horn Society is that we go out and grab resources, and there might be despicable people on the so-called good side who are the villains, local villains who actually sell their neighbors to slavery on the other side and stuff like that. I don't know if you want, but it's my opinion, if it is depicted as evil, then it might be, or you can, meaning that those are things that can happen in areas like this, so to speak, that can be interesting from an adventuring perspective, so to speak.
Because again, bear in mind with the Shieldlands, you're looking at lawful good and lawful neutral.
Yeah.
And then the question becomes, what are you willing to?
But it doesn't mean that everybody, meaning you always have the local hoodlum that are corrupt.
That's exactly what I mean. I was talking about the authorities. I'm talking about the authorities who would have to deal with them. It's like, are you willing maybe to say that the greater good, that phrase, to maintain the law, you sometimes have to, and then you start seeing the characters, some of the characters crack or become more complex.
See, look how deep these conversations go.
They do go deep. I was just going to say that when there's money to be made, persons will find a way. So of course there's trade, there's smuggling, there's the black markets that are going on, and labor may be cheaper because guess what? In the Horn Society, I bet they're willing to use some pretty rough methodology to get things done, right? Whereas hopefully our good folk in the land south of that would not agree with slavery and abuse of.
No, of course not.
Like
they And people there not in general will probably be terrified of simply the idea of getting themselves into slavery, or neighbors or friends or family. So they would defend it. But that means that there might be one crooked individual now and then here and there who will be the one organizing or helping the raiders go or whatever stuff. So meaning you can think of adventures of finding these people and stuff like that. So it will be like a criminal investigation or a manhunt or something.
Or in terms of canon, right? In terms of tying this back to GREYHAWK, there is something that happens that doesn't have a direct bearing on the adventure. Nonetheless, it might get mentioned, which Jay, I was talking to you about. Where there's something in the horses. There's something that happens with the Shieldlands. That kind of demonstrates that maybe not all of the good guys are on the same page. I'm not going to go any further than that, because if it gets mentioned in the adventure, it's something that hasn't happened yet, and won't affect the adventure, but will.
What was that, Stephen?
Does it have a red in a hand?
Yeah, you're right. It begins with a Z. We had that discussion already. So, but
I was just thinking that if you think that a certain, we feel secure about our organization, after all, this guy is doing a fairly good job of managing that border, and then you find out exactly how he's been managing that border, and for what end. rug pull, basically. Yeah. And history's full of things like that, right? Um, People who one could argue there's such a thing as a combat pragmatist, right? There are also people who consider themselves political realists.
Yeah.
And that can be they can be just as dangerous as villains.
We're
and
gonna have
become
a,
villains.
in a nutshell, we're gonna have a blast with this. Writing this and doing
there's
and
so much
making
to it.
this up for you all. We're already having a blast with the meetings, with the writing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a blast with this. Cannot wait. It'll all be in five. There'll be 5e. There'll be new 5e classes. There'll be new Melf spells. There'll be some new NPCs. There'll be some new bad guys. There'll be some new plot hooks. It's just gonna be awesome. And a big story. We're so excited. I know, Anna, you got to go shortly, and I know we don't want to keep Steven and Luke too long here.
Yeah, I do have to go
Yes.
make some dinner. My
So
wife
what would you,
I'm on the hook.
Luke? What would you say in closing us? Thanks for coming on here too.
I'm
Everyone's very excited.
I'm really excited. What a great team we've assembled. I think this will be a fun product. Hopefully, the first of many that will sort of take this unofficial GREYHAWK community and be able to pull more and more of it into official D&D, the official D&D realm,
I think it.
and share GREYHAWK with a whole bunch of new players, right? Which I think is what we all really at heart want to do is share our love for something with others. And show them how cool it is.
A labor of love. Yep.
Exactly, and it's that's what all these people who were excited to jump into it weren't like, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to make some money. They're like, oh my god, it's GREYHAWK. I love this stuff. I want to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So and that shines through in just the in the meetings and people saying, oh, we could do this cool thing, we do this, and some of the wonderful ideas that show love for the roots of where this came from, but also embracing some of the newer aspects
and actively pass on that torch from Melf's generation to the next generation.
That's it. I mean, we got a lot of storytelling though in the early days. That's just great with basically being a reset. We can really, because it's open. It's open. Nothing was discussed till the wars, and there's all sorts of fun things we can do. So, Steven, how about you in closing? Thanks for coming on.
And my pleasure to always.
You need to come on more and join in these discussions. Really, we'd love to have you on. Anna and I would love to have you on as an expert.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll come on. Yeah. I'll come on whenever you want.
All right, cool.
My basic thing is I tend to be sort of a creating hermit most of the time, so you've got to kind of jingle some keys.
Right, and give you a little notice. Yeah, it's cool.
It's like Steven.
Here are the Discords.
But echoing a lot of what Luke said, right? I mean, GREYHAWK was a kind of the first campaign love for me, at least in D&D. And it's one of those things that when I was running the Living GREYHAWK campaign, it was so much of me administering a big juggernaut and letting people tell the stories that they wanted to tell without sort of messing with them too much. And it's every once in a while somebody would be like, Steven, have you seen the stories that this region is telling? And I'm like, yeah, but they're having a great time with it. Like, would I have made those creative decisions? No, but that was part of the Living GREYHAWK campaign. We gave it to the regions to sort of fit their own market and tell the stories that they wanted to tell. But there was always this part of me that wanted to go tinker with it because I'm very passionate about this setting and wanted to hey, maybe you guys could do something a little like this. This gives me an opportunity to do that. It gives me an opportunity to have my head live in the world of GREYHAWK, which is a place it loves to be in, and sit there and go, how can I honor its legacy and then just make it as fun as possible? And luckily, those two things together, at least in my mind, are really easy to do. So that's just been, I've been just having a blast doing that. So
it's easier when you love it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like tedious. This is not tedious. This is a blast, and that's what I think all of us in closing. Unless you want to say something in closing. I like it because Anna's got to leave. You want to stay with me
No,
as we finish up?
I can stay for another 30 minutes.
Oh,
It was
okay, okay,
delayed.
cool. All right, cool.
Yeah, so it's
All right,
good. So
all
please
right, cool.
continue. Yep.
So, in closing with in this, I think we all want to bring something that we want you to be proud of what we've done. I think that is what we want. And if the community says this is great, and then the critics say this is great, it's just a leaping board for this to become the new, opens up doors for all of us. You know,
And I think
with Luke's name on it.
Yeah.
Critical acclaim is nice. That's great. But the true test of something, the true value of something, are people playing it and having fun in their home campaigns with their friends. Did you bring joy to the world?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. If critics think it's schlock or whatever, okay, I'll accept that. That no problem. How many people are playing it?
It's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, exactly. The dude would say, just like your opinion, man.
And beyond that, we're not doing it for the critics. We're doing it for. I mean, for me, there are two things to do. Luke, as I've said before, your father's work had such a profound influence on me as a young man, as a child, even, that I do want to make nods to the later lore, right? But I definitely want to keep a lot of what your dad created and keep it, I hope, consistent with his vision or done in such a way that it expands like what he created in an honorable way. The second thing I was saying was the idea of generations. This is GREYHAWK, where I'm hoping longtime grognards can appreciate it. Some of them won't. I can accept that. I'll give you page citations if you need them. And you may reject parts of those things as non-canonical, and that's fine. But the point is, I'm not pulling it out of my posterior.
No. You're
that's my job.
And like I said, it's like the generation that had Melf as a hero. Here's another beginning generation of heroes.
Yeah.
And likewise, so it's an invitation to new players to tell new stories and to have new adventures in this world that we so dearly love, and to see what it is about it that we so dearly love.
Absolutely. Why would we do GREYHAWK stuff in 5e unless it was to really spread the love of what
of the setting,
the happiness, the joy we found, that spark we found.
Yep.
From playing in GREYHAWK, right?
Yep.
And now the lingua franca is 5e. That's where the new players are. So we want to give them that. Right?
Decisions we make on our own, we're going to make decisions that people might not make on their own, and that's fine. You can adapt it, you can tweak it. Yeah. If you hate on us and hate on it, that's fine too. I can be a duck, man, and let it roll off my back. I'm a grown-up, so
yeah.
It used to bother me. I didn't. It took me a few years to realize no matter what you do, somebody's going to be upset about it. Right. One short story, if I could drop it in.
Yeah, please.
Totally related. So at GaryCon, we used to do a thing called an early bird badge, and when you bought an early bird badge, you got a free soda cup. It was a little bit cheaper, and you got a free cup that was either soda or beer or whatever, right? And so, and of course, it was like free soda during happy hours and like $1 refills, and it's a 20-ounce cup. So somebody wrote and said, "Oh, it was like GaryCon 8. Oh, GaryCon, they're terrible. They rip me off every year. I buy
here's one of the cups."
Right, yeah, I buy an early bird badge, and they never have any soda that I can drink. I'm like, what do you mean we don't have soda that we can drink? So I find this guy and I mess with it. What do you mean we don't have soda that you eat? He's like, yeah, you guys are stealing, you're ripping me off. I need a non-caffeinated diet non-cola.
Oh my God. Giant ginger ale?
Oh. I was like, what the fuck is that? And so I figured out he wants Diet Sierra Mist.
Right? Oh my God.
Diet Sierra Mist would have no caffeine, it's not a cola, and no sugar. So I called the hotel and I said, can you have a case of this stuff? And whenever this guy comes, have it behind the bar, you can open it and pour it in there.
That's funny.
But I was like, okay, someone is going to find this problem. And of course, you could buy the cup. It was like $5 or $10, right? So, but I was like the worst guy in the world because I was cheating this guy
out of his
money. Yeah. So there'll always be somebody, no matter what we do, there'll be that guy out there who will say that. So I'm prepared.
That's funny.
I'm prepared for that. But hopefully, the vast majority of people enjoy the adventure and
Yep.
the love that went into it.
And the last question was time frame on this, when we can finish it. So
Yeah.
we're going
I
to
don't wanna make
highly
promises.
advertise this at GaryCon.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would suspect summer or fall of 2025. I don't want, if we can get it done earlier than that, fantastic. But I don't want to set unrealistic
Right,
expectations.
right.
And we want to do it right. I want
This-
this done
yes.
properly, not fast.
We want this to be something that everyone's proud of. So
Yeah, I was sharing my kind of stack of gaming material that I'm plowing through this week, and Jay had commented on Facebook. He's like, "Oh, you're brainstorming on something." I'm like, "I'm waist deep." In it.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
I've got words upon words upon words that I'm sure as we talk about it more, and they're like, "Steven, you can't do that," or maybe you didn't take a look at this, and I was like, "Oh, okay," like those words are going to change, but yeah, I am very involved with this in the story, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I could tell that just from reading the little treatise. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's like dive it in. He's like, mask, snorkel,
Right.
I'm in.
And if we reach out to you for something, you never know. Okay, I've already, like I said, someone in the audience. We had to reach out to them for something. They know who they are, and just like you said, writing credit will be given. I mean, because we want the community. There's certain things that people have written.
We might need a few favors here.
We might need a few favors here and there. Luke's gonna call in his on the artwork, and so we're gonna make this a full community effort, and we're excited. And thank you all for listening. And Steven and Luke, thanks. Thank you so very much.
What a pleasure.
And we'll be in touch. Yep. And we have a meeting in a couple of weeks after the holidays as we continue. So
happy holidays, everybody.
We'll see you all soon. Yeah, Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Talk to you both soon. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
Yep. So we're still on here. That was awesome, wasn't it? Aren't you?
Yeah.
So Luke did one on Luke's Lounge. That's where we were. That's where we started at 7:30. Yep. Thank you, Lee. That 7:30. That's why we were on a little late, a half hour late, and I just wanted. And they said, "Oh, we'll come on your show off of that." And so we've had, we got 100 people now. Just note that this is a reality, and we're all honored to be part of it. So,
and Jay, I don't think we can say it enough. I said it in chat. Everyone out there who's either watching this live or will be watching it on YouTube, thank you for your continued interest and involvement in keeping GREYHAWK alive.
Absolutely.
And your contributions and the ideas that you bounce and the debates that you have. This is what allows a project like this to take root and grow.
Patrick. Yep.
This is what fertilizes that soil.
Yeah. This is the opportunity that I've been talking about for 3 years that we've been waiting for. Some people, some of the great people in our community have already jumped on that, and I've said it multiple times and created this. And this is a great start-off point. If you're new to this, new to it, go right on. Please, someone link this off of DM's Guild, please. Link because this is a great start in the revised edition. If you're new to GREYHAWK, it's perfect. That's a great starting point. We're going to come out with Down in the Weeds. Couple, Horn Society, Shield Lands, a great story, all the background information that you can develop in this area. It's going to be wonderful. So thank you. Yep. So, all right. So, Anna, how much time you got? You only got 15 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, I was supposed to have to leave at our regular end time, but I pushed it for half an hour. So very good.
So So what should we do? Let me take Luke Gygax off of the title here again. Go back to GREYHAWK. There we go.
It's okay. Yeah. So this is
okay.
we can do a little bit of all over the place, but this is interesting. I need to tie into this when a few months ago when we started talking seriously about this changed my oh yeah, Jay has So this changed my publication and plans for next year, so to speak. Not that I will be distracted that much, because a lot of the stuff that I will do for the Melf's guide I would have done anyway, so to speak. So there's no biggie in that sense. But the difference will be that instead of me publishing a whole bunch of stuff for my own campaign set in the area, I will put that on hold, and I will make a variant for this, and I will do a lot of the mapping of the area and stuff, and I will publish that, and then there will be specific versions of that going into the product, so to speak. So you expect to see less Meyerhawk Shieldland content, but expect to see more big maps of the area, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I will put because now I need to put that into production faster.
Plus heraldry.
Exactly, plus heraldry. So I will do, and there will be, of course, I will do some Meyerhawk versions of this and put on my Patreon too. That will not end up in the book, so to speak. But I need to know what will end up in the book and what's needed for that, and then I will fill in my other gaps and stuff. And also, what did we say? What's going in the book is not my version of Shieldlands or the Horn Society and stuff. That's why I don't want them to be
Right.
competingly published at the same time. So that
See,
will. Yeah.
None of this. No order of Ulick in here. None.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's my version. Anna's version.
Yeah.
We may have ideas that spawn
Exactly.
off that. There's
few
like less
things,
too.
yeah,
But
exactly.
no,
A few things
none
from,
of our content.
Exactly. A few
Yeah.
things from Meyerhawk will probably spill in here because I've
Yeah.
talked about what I've done, and so
Maybe
something
zombie
might end
goats
up
make
there. We'll
their way
see.
in.
Exactly. Zombie goats might. They
Yeah,
have a tendency
definitely.
of being
They're gonna-
prolific
I mean,
everywhere. so we'll
Right,
see.
exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly.
And
You're
I
not
have
going
a
to see
couple of
Murlocs
other-
running around
Yeah.
the Horn Society, okay? Don't worry
But there
about it.
will, yeah, but there
So,
are some
yeah.
IUCN stuff that I will
Right.
publish now for the holidays anyway, so to speak, that I will do and stuff. So it will change my stuff. So instead of seeing a whole bunch of detailed stuff, I will hold on to it for some time and play with it with my players and stuff. So but it's coming in both the Melf's guide, but eventually it will all be shipped to my patrons too. But I need more area covered. So that's where I will put my emphasis
Yep.
instead. And that area, the generic version of that will be available for my patrons and others coming forward too. So yeah, in GIS form even too. Yeah.
Give
there's
away.
also-
Go ahead, Les.
I was going to say with this too. I think it obviously I want to safeguard what exists, and expand outward. And one of the great things about this is that, looking at other people's suggestions, looking at my own suggestions, and where I might have gone hog wild in my youth with my ideas about things, in my old notes, because I've been digging up my old notebooks with the Horn Society and some of the stuff about different knightly orders and stuff. And to make it, if this makes sense, take those disparate elements, those elements that we all have in our campaigns, and to make them fit into a cohesive whole that fits with Gary's original vision, at least the published version of the original vision, and then has some nods to later works, without being overwhelmed by those later works.
Yep.
And so and also not overwhelming the reader with a dry treatise on thousands of years of lore and history, but to keep it kind of vivid, and also to do it in such a way that this is fun. This is a world that your characters are interacting with.
Yep.
It has a history, and you are helping shape that history as it unfolds.
And we also we already have odes to Leonard and to Jim Warden here.
Yeah, there were a couple of ideas I had for.
Yep. So we're going to pay some respects to some dearly departed.
There'll be nods to other luminaries too,
absolutely.
whose names I think people can guess.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. RPG MMO. There's Anna's links there. All right. So the giveaway. Someone's going to win both these. All right. The reprint, courtesy of Doc Shoulder, who sent me 6 of these. We're going to give away the revised one in hard copy, and because of this, the Scarlet Brotherhood is the discussion point for the Tropics, which we got about 15-20 minutes in. So we'll do a Tropics Revisited very shortly, even maybe next week on this, because we're down to like 10 minutes, because Anna's got to leave at 9:30. So with shout-outs and stuff. Yeah, so it was very kind. It was a Lulu print. These were not drive-through prints. These were Lulu. So... any questions from the audience on what we discussed here? If something any of us, all 3 of us can't answer, maybe we can go to Luke on it. But so he said something to me. He called. It's crazy because having Luke call me on the phone now and asking me for advice, he called me and said, "What did you think of this idea?" I said, And he all I'll say is this: he goes, yeah, well, I think I'm going to really reach out to Jeff and just see if he could do something for us. I said, Jeff, who? And then you know the answer. I was like,
Yeah.
really? I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, why not? And I was like, man, page count 128. Aldrin, 128.
That's
We're gonna
the
do
target.
three.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a target. 3 books. This is book 1. So book 1 will be Horn Society Shieldlands. It'll rotate into book 2 will be Furendi, right? The second part of this trilogy will be Furendi. Part 3 will be, the upper will be Vesvi and maybe into the Ayus itself, right? That'll be part 3. High Folk, right? Vesvi, part 3.
And we should point out that attentive players and DMs will notice things that
We'll see.
foreshadow and drop a few hints as to where things may go.
Yeah. So, and we figured that we can do that in 3 128 page instead of doing one massive one, and build up. And we want to tell a story, and we want the characters to level up. I will. One negative, I know, Les, it's 5e. I will play test this on my channel once we're ready, but it will be an old school. But I don't think it matters. But I will. Yeah, good.
Because of some of the mechanical differences, like between leveling and damage output and monsters and everything, I'm probably going to play test it as well. So.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to live stream it. I'm going to live stream it just because I'm going to have them set up. My guys set up characters, have some special guests playing it, and we're going to run and play test it live.
Yeah, and it'll give people an idea of the sense, give them a sense of it. Yeah.
Yep. So that's a great question, Alderon. So it's going to be we're stoked. We're stoked. It's a matter for us to step up and do what we need to do. So, yep. I got you all know I've been through some crazy stuff lately. So it's put me in a perspective of now's the time. And this is what Ed Greenwood said this to me. I got to take it to heart. You're alive now. Do it now because you don't know how long you're going to be on this earth. And with the cancer, with the prostate cancer and all that, it's opened up my eyes. So. Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm glad. And, we don't need to go into the details, but some things were found out in testing that, so we're so far so good. So, we got some more blood work coming
What
up.
he said.
Who controls White Plume Mountain? The Shieldlands are neither. White Plume Mountain is controlled by Chareptus, right? It's Chareptus. It's neither.
Well, yeah, depends on if you're counting LG stuff and so on. Then there are some Dread Dragons and stuff. Exactly. So 576. Then Chareptus is still active in his what's called he had a name, his dungeon. Well, anyway, so he's still the master there. Yeah.
But it's something we're going to stay away from. I think in this one, we're not going to talk. We may mention it, but we're not going to go into White Plume Mountain.
Chareptus might not be. Well, we'll see if he makes the villain list.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Not.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's a lot. The players are already going to have a lot on their plates.
Right. And Steven's got this genius. We brainstormed some really great ideas. I think
we had a lot of villainous ideas last meeting, which was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Exactly, Scott. I mean, definitely, it's really opened my eyes. So. Yeah, I got some more surgeries coming for my hips in 2025. So let's just put it out there that this year has not been good health wise. So
Jay's going to be streaming and looking like RoboCop.
Oscorp, whatever it is. I don't know. That's
there.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to go that route.
Yeah. So any other questions?
No LexCorp tech either.
Yeah,
okay.
no LexCorp tech. So but RPG MMO, welcome to the community, and join in and ask questions. And there are literally 600 talk shows on my YouTube channel that we've done over the 6 years in Legends, Lore, and Gabbins. There's you type in a topic idea, Shieldlands, boom. There's or water, or forests, or knights, or evil, or deities. Just there's so many. So. Yeah, I don't know about $6 million, probably $6. So, yeah. But so all right. Why don't we shout out what's going on here? How about that? Because that'll take us to 9:30. I know you got to depart, Anna. So why don't we do that? Sound good? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Les, what's going on, man?
Oh, you have to ask after this?
Well, I mean, beyond that, man. Beyond that.
Beyond this, I also have some articles of additional lore that I'm going to be producing. I've handed Sam the whip and told him to pursue me periodically. Yeah, they're going to be, I think that people will find them interesting, and I hope that people will find that they provide them with playable material or background to spook their characters as per usual. So yeah, man, I've been working on that. I've been doing some other stuff, personal projects. Holidays are coming up. Life is good.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to all the new stuff coming out in publications. We had the Grey Grimoire a couple weeks ago, on, and what a great last publication. Could someone link Grey Grimoire 4 for download, please? Yeah, I don't think I have a shout out for that, or I would do that. So, but Les, thanks for coming on both, man.
Hey, no problem, man.
Yep.
And thanks for I've got to say thanks to you guys and Luke for just for allowing me to participate in this project. It's really a great honor.
Come on, Les, you were the guy, man. You were the deep lore guy. Gotta have. It was an easy call, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Sam. Perfect on that link. I'm very happy that you're running with this and participating. So, Anna, what's going on?
Yeah, first I need to answer RP MMO
Please, go
with
for it.
my favorite forest. Right now, I think it's the sus. That is my favorite
Yeah,
forest.
That's a good one too. It's too close.
Yeah, because it's dark fae, kind of humanoids, elvish, whatever. And right now I'm on the concept stage of planning my next campaign, meaning in 3-4 years, or
That's
2,
a good one
3,
too,
4
Gary.
years in the future. So I'm coming up with ideas, and I want to start out the characters in the sus area to go on training missions. So because I want them to tackle bigger BBGs later on. So the sus is of special interest for me right now. I'm not going to map it in detail, but I'm more like thinking of it from a concept perspective. What kind of cool things could you find there, and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to dig into what are how the Fae work and stuff like that. So
there's going to be just to shamelessly plug Mr. Smedger and the Visions of Greyhawk. There's actually an article I should be having. There should be of mine that should be in an upcoming issue that has to deal with the sus and the history of its ettercaps.
Oh, awesome!
Nice.
I love the ettercap. It's one of my
As do
favorite
I.
monsters. Yep. They're fantastic. So that was one. But if you ask me that question in 5 years, it might be a different forest. So we'll see. But right now, it's definitely sus, because the Shieldlands area I'm in doesn't have that much of ancient, awesome forest lands of any note. So there are some trees here and there, but nothing in particular when it comes to named forests of the area, so to speak. So it's my next campaign that is going in. Okay, so that was the question. What's going on? I'm wrapping up my GIS project. So I just sent out the first geo package to my top patrons, where you get all the first batch of all the data, so you can load it up in QGIS or any other GIS tool and start making your own maps and your own version of it. So that data will come out to everyone later in spring, so to speak, because now my top patrons are the beta testers and they can figure it out. And I also need to start putting together some tutorials. I will do some mapping live streams on Fridays later on in spring, where I go over how to get this on your computer, how you download it, how you install it and stuff, and then maybe put that as a YouTube video and stuff, so people can figure out how to do it, because there are a few little hoops you have to go through it, so to speak. But the data is now available for my top patrons, and now I'm going to work on the first set of GIS maps. There is a bunch of test maps that are now available on my if you go to my Patreon. Let's see here, I can just do this. That was the wrong, there we go. That one. if you go here, you can find some the previous test maps I did of almost the whole area. There's like 3, the Flanny East, there's the Bacloonish West, and then it's Hepmona Land and Media. I haven't covered all of the everything. There's some areas that will be excluded from the test maps, but they will come. Now I will start doing the regional maps. So they will be like the Bitter North and so on and so forth, the Bacloonish West and stuff again. And they will be properly gridded and stuff. But these will be for digital use. And then in spring, there will come a series of printed maps for print. So they will be done for print. But on the other hand, I'm also now doing a little bit of cool little stuff for the holidays. There will be some extra, some new heraldry and some other stuff. And I'm also prepping for my game at Page. So there will be in during
Nice.
probably about just after New Year's, I will do some play tests again. I will do probably about 4 or 5 play tests leading up to Page. So if you're interested, then you can reach out. Yeah, you can join my Discord or something. So or send me a message on become a free member of my Patreon. You can be a free member. You don't have to pay anything. You can just be a free member. Then you register that, and you can send me a message on Patreon. And therefore, if you're interested, so to speak, so sign up there because I will put it up there, and then you can print it. Yes, there are plans of a printed atlas, but that's probably about a year or so in the future once I have all it in here, and there will be poster maps for print first. And if that once they are up and it works well, then I will look into a printed atlas. So yes, that is it's not definitely not beyond the scope of the project. That was one of the reasons I wanted the GIS version of it, because I can much quicker make different versions of it. I've already done half a dozen of test maps. And oh, thank you, Arg Scott. Yeah, so this means that I can much faster reiterate and do different things. And there will be a new geo package in coming probably in spring that covers the whole Earth into some detail. I'm working on that already. So there is a bunch of stuff with that. There will be an update on Hawktails because there will be a new alpha version of the rules for Page. I've reworked this how the skills function, so that will come in the holidays too. And I've nailed down the base skills to 4 because I want it very simple. So there's 4 base skills. That's it. So I want it simple as possible. So I think that simplification can actually work, so to speak. So yeah, so that's my Patreon. So I'm so thankful for everyone who helped me do that. It's over 800. I think it's about 820 or so right now. That
Holy
supports
shit.
me. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
Nice,
so
man.
it's fantastic. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. So not all, but they're
Great.
members. Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
probably about 500 almost or 400 something that are paying members, but even the free ones that you're helping me too, because you're there, you're looking at things, commenting and stuff. So
Very cool.
I've been working really, really hard to get like a whole new generation of stuff out. But once a lot of this heavy lifting is done, then I can start doing the presentation and actually do stuff that will be external, so to speak. There is another project that I'm now starting, and that's the source project that's going in. I will start making sources. So that will be, I'm going to remake my website as part of it. So there will be like a source material. So if there's anything that appears on my maps, that will be like a wiki style. You can actually find where the sources are for that stuff. So I'm going to start making a few test posts and show to my patrons, so you can tell me if this is a good format or how they should be formatted. That's something I will start looking into early next year to kind of set it up so we know what to aim for. And when we have what to aim for, then I will simply take all of the data from the GIS and that will is basically a big Excel spreadsheet, and then take every name that is mentioned on the maps and then start figuring out where they come from. And I have a huge Evernote database to help me with finding that. But there will be some names that I will need public help with. So I will reach out like once a week or so and start asking and say, can you please help me? So that might be one of these things on Legends and Lore going forward, I might have a couple of these names every week that needs filling in where the heck they come from, because there's some of these stuff that even I'm not sure where the heck I found them 20 years ago or 25 years ago. So those are the main things that are underway, so to speak. But it's crazy times, but it's fun and interesting, and it's starting to be more things that will be finalized, so there will be things to show, so to speak. Those of you who followed my Fridays, you've seen how tedious it is to sit and do all this, and you can sit for hours and just enter data. But once it's done, you can do cool stuff with it. So yeah.
So
One thing more.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to be on Guild Superior. That's what I will do after this show. Go on the session 0 in January and February. I will be on Guild Superior. We'll run a GREYHAWK game in Shadow Dark,
Awesome.
and we'll be one of the players in that game. So yep.
RPG, you gotta know
Dave is such a good guy.
what new book.
Yeah.
So you don't know RPG. You're new to the community. I'm an old school 1E 2E guy. So for me, it's great if it brings in new people. But I'm not a 5e player, so you'd have to ask that to a lot of more 5e. It only could be good. But for me, I'm so old school. Been playing. This is year 45's coming up in the campaign. So yeah. But in that game, if you want to watch tomorrow night, 7:30. So the group dealt with. This is Curtis is part of this. So is Coco and some of my regulars. The group dealt with the Princess Highwayman. There's a bit this spot in the middle. There's a deep hole that's been dug out. Yep. What?
I'm going to say I'm going to leave. So have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
See
have
ya.
a good one.
Take care.
See you, Anna.
Bye.
Yeah, Anna normally she had a commitment. She pushed back. So yep, Anna's doing okay. Scott, she's getting better every day. So this is going to be part 2, as we got some undergrounds here, and part 2 tomorrow. The Banditry Rivals. We'll see you with that, and it'll be a Gamescape 3D and Reaper Miniatures giveaway. That's tomorrow, starting at 7:30. All right. Then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Look at this crew. The nuclear meat is back, and they are back. Oh boy! And I just did that backwards. Nuclear meat is back. Coco Bird is back. First time playing her duelist in a while. Rachel Mark from Marquee Gaming. Sir Timothy and Korg the Mighty. Dark Depths. Well, guess what? They're going to be at that same site. So there's 2 parts. Whatever part our group, the Huntsmen, do tomorrow night, they're going to do the other part. So there you go. And that's going to be Saturday morning. That's at 9 a.m. And then, best name group. Thursday Bongos, you got it. Yeah, Curtis, because everyone's out of spells and out of healing, man. And so it's going to be rough. And then Sunday night. So this came about from my 3-year partner anniversary. Chuck is like, I want to hear about Spellfire. And I said, well, let's just do a Legendary Stories of GREYHAWK and the Realms. So all you Grognards or Grog, you may have to listen to some Forgotten Realms stuff from Ed, but that's okay. Ed will be on Sunday night. We're 3 days away from Christmas on there. I have no idea what my schedule is next week, but this week is packed. All right, so there you go. All right, let's see who wins the giveaway, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. Sound good? More Ed, of course. More Ed, of course. I'm always pushing Ed. Ed is such a great guy. All right, here we go. I'm going to see who wins tonight. These 2 books, okay? And if you have one of these already, let me know, and I'll swap them out. Closing the entries. Here we go. Closing it out. Winner is Hager the Horrible. Hager. Congrats. Hey. As long as Hager's on the claim. Let me check here. I don't see Hager in chat. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I do not see Hager in chat at all. This looks like we're going to re-pull. I'll give him 30 seconds. I don't see him even lurking. So, yep. Look at that. Opportunity for someone else. He's not here. 10 seconds. We're gonna
Speak up.
He's definitely not there. He's out raiding a neighbor. That's funny. All right, here we're gonna pull a new winner. New winner. Scottish Jeff. Jeff, I know you're on. Jeff, you got it.
Nice one, Jeff.
Jeff. I got your address, Jeff. We'll send it out. Good deal. And you're in chat. I see you in the log. So, 100 people on. Let's sit tight. Let's go into. We're going to go into Stronghold Tim is playing. He's part of the members. He's a member of both Nuclear Meat and the Bone Baddies. His Paladin's like 2,000 experience away from going up, so to 7th finally. So maybe I'll kill him. No, I'm not gonna be that mean person. But yeah, so finally he'll get the level up he's been working on so much. Les, thanks. This was a great day. Great discussion.
Man, again, thanks for having me along.
Of course, absolutely. No, we're going to be working hard behind the scenes, but in the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, tomorrow night, then Saturday morning and Sunday night to finish up the week. Have a good one. No, it's going to be we're gonna sell XT, and Luke's going to self-publish it, and it's going right on DM's Guild.
Yep.
No, it's not Troll Lord, this one. Yep. All right, setting the rate up. See how many we get in here. Love to get over 80. Give him 100 bump there. Yep, awesome. Thank you all so very much. All right, cool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thank you all for the support. Make sure the raid goes in.
All right, 70 viewers.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Let me end the stream.